Imagine a hole so large that it can be seen from space, a hole so deep and so enormous that entire neighborhoods could fit inside it, a hole surrounded by myths, fear, and stories so strange that many people refuse to go near it. At first glance, it looks like something from science fiction, a scar carved into the earth itself. Almost unnatural, almost impossible, and yet it's real. Hidden in one of the coldest and most remote regions on Earth lies a gigantic crater that has fascinated engineers, geologists, conspiracy theorists, and curious travelers for decades. This is the story of the Mirny Mine, the giant hole that changed an entire city, and the reason why almost nobody wants to live too close to it. When people imagine the largest human-made structures on Earth, they usually think of skyscrapers, massive bridges, gigantic dams. But very few people think about mines, and that's a mistake. Because some mines are so large that they completely transform the landscape around them. The Mirny Mine is one of those places. Located deep in Siberia, in eastern Russia, this enormous open-pit diamond mine became one of the largest holes ever excavated by humans. And the numbers are difficult to comprehend. The mine is over 500 meters deep, nearly 1.25 kilometers wide. Standing at the edge feels less like looking into a mine and more like staring into a man-made canyon. The scale overwhelms your brain. Everything looks miniature. Vehicles appear like toys. People disappear completely. And the deeper you look, the stranger it feels. Because this isn't a natural crater. Humans built it. The story begins in the 1950s. At the height of the Cold War, the Soviet Union was desperately searching for natural resources, and one resource was particularly valuable: diamonds. Not only for jewelry, but for industry, machinery, engineering, technology. Finding large diamond deposits could provide enormous economic and strategic advantages. Then came a discovery that changed everything. Geologists exploring Siberia found evidence of one of the richest diamond deposits ever discovered. The location was remote, brutally cold, almost unimaginably isolated, but the diamonds were there. And where valuable resources exist, humans tend to follow, no matter the cost. In my opinion, one of the most fascinating things about human history is our willingness to build in places that seem completely uninhabitable. Deserts, frozen tundras, mountaintops, remote islands. Again and again, people look at hostile environments and think, we can make this work. Sometimes that determination is inspiring. Sometimes it's reckless. And often it's a bit of both. Mirny was exactly that. The Soviet Union built an entire town around the mine. Workers arrived, families settled, infrastructure appeared, roads, schools, housing. Everything existed because of one thing: the giant hole in the ground. But Siberia isn't an easy place to build anything. Winter temperatures can drop below -40 degrees Celsius. The ground freezes solid, machinery struggles. Construction becomes a constant battle against nature. Yet despite these conditions, mining operations expanded year after year. Because the rewards were enormous. The diamonds extracted from Mirny helped fuel an entire industry, and for decades the mine became one of the most productive diamond sources in the world. Money flowed. Jobs appeared. The town grew. From a distance it looked like a success story, and in many ways it was. But every success comes with consequences. The larger the mine became, the more obvious one fact became. Humans were creating something they didn't fully understand. The pit continued expanding, deeper, wider, more dramatic, until it began generating unusual effects. One of the most famous stories involves helicopters. According to reports and local accounts, pilots were advised to avoid flying directly over the center of the mine. The reason? Powerful air currents created by the enormous pit. Whether every story surrounding the mine is completely accurate is difficult to verify. But what is clear is that the scale of the excavation created conditions unlike anything found in ordinary landscapes, and that alone helped fuel the legends. Humans are naturally drawn to giant holes. That might sound strange, but think about it. Volcanoes, canyons, sinkholes, impact craters. Something about enormous voids captures our imagination. Perhaps it's because they remind us how small we really are. Or perhaps it's because they trigger a primal fear. The fear of falling. The fear of the unknown. The fear of looking into something deeper than we can comprehend. The Mirny Mine combines all three. Eventually, mining technology evolved, operations shifted. The original open pit became less important. New methods emerged. Underground mining expanded. And the giant hole slowly transformed from an active industrial project into something else. A monument. A reminder of what humans can accomplish when resources, ambition, and determination collide. But it also became a reminder of something more uncomfortable: the environmental cost of extraction. Because every resource we use comes from somewhere. The metals in our phones, the minerals in our computers, the materials inside modern cities. They all begin with excavation, with digging, with changing landscapes forever. Most people never see that process. The Mirny Mine makes it impossible to ignore. I think that's one reason this place feels so powerful. It exposes a hidden reality of modern life. We love the products, the technology, the convenience, but we rarely think about where the raw materials come from. Somewhere, a mountain was cut apart, a forest was cleared, a mine was excavated. Civilization leaves footprints. Sometimes those footprints become visible from space. Today, Mirny remains one of the most unusual places on Earth. The town still exists, people still live there. But compared to major cities, the region remains incredibly isolated. And for many outsiders, the giant hole remains the defining feature of the landscape: a wound, a monument, a marvel, depending on who you ask. Some see engineering brilliance, others see environmental destruction. And perhaps both perspectives contain truth. Because the most important places in history are rarely simple. They force us to confront contradictions: progress and cost, innovation and consequence, ambition and sacrifice. As the long Siberian winter settles across the landscape, the giant pit remains frozen beneath the Arctic sky, silent, immense, almost unreal. A hole so large it reshaped an entire region, a hole that built a city, a hole that generated myths, and a hole that quietly asks a question we rarely stop to consider: how much of the modern world was built by digging deeper than anyone thought possible?